InkForge, who made Firestyle Fable, Fireside Fable. Sorry. Can you guys give me a brief introduction on what you did when it came to development of the game?
Yeah, of course. I was a co-director on this game, and I come from the writing course, but kind of T-shaped field design, programming, writing, and quite a bit of audio.
Fair enough.
So
That's
yeah,
quite a lot, to be fair.
so yeah.
Yeah, my name's Ollie Wheeler. I take like a 3D art lead role, but mostly I spend my time on like character art and environment stuff.
Yeah, when it came to the development of the game, what was your main inspirations when it came to it?
In terms of straight gameplay, Bill Gator game is a massive inspiration, as well as uh,
Just like the playtest, if you like.
as well as Mario Galaxy was a big inspiration for us. A lot of the games in the cozy genre was something that we wanted to try and hit, as this game is made for children, but also for the cozy audience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, like, when it came to the art style, who was like the main inspiration when it came to like the art style of the game?
I'll let the artist take that.
So I mean, it was pretty iterative at the start, at least. Um, in terms of games for art style, I'd say something like Little Gator Game, which is a game we played last year at WASD in London. Um, just super cute, easy to like produce assets, so fairly low poly generally, and then just using like stylized textures you find in Substance Painter.
Honestly, I did play the game on Saturday. I honestly, probably one of my more favorite games I've played during this Expo event. Like, what was your favorite part of like playing the game when it came to?
Uh, Favorite part of playing is probably the platformer section. So here, obviously, is a lot more narrative focused. But in terms of actual playing the game, yeah, the platformer very fun. It's not exactly a hard game because it is made for children, but it's enjoyable, I'd say.
It's quite sweet. I mean, I'm a bit biased. I quite like looking at the environments, but that's kind of what I do when I play games anyway. I remember my like lecturer in college used to tell me that he's bad at games because he spends so much time looking at stuff, and I thought that was so stupid. But I do the same thing now, so either I'm stupid or I've learned
Yeah,
something.
comes full circle.
It certainly does.
When it came to like developing the game, was there any like main issues that you guys ran into?
This campfire scene was a big issue. We decided maybe 3 months into development to split it into a 2D, 3D section. So you can see the sprites here are 2D,
Yeah.
whereas the rest of the scene is all fully 3D. And that was only late on in development we realized how much effort it would make for the 3D artist to create three very detailed model children and then have an animation team animate them.
Yeah.
So we found it a lot easier for our 2D artists to instead create 2D characters, which we could then implement into the 3D section.
Fair enough. Like, honestly, when looking at the game and playing through it, there's some like elements that are like, in my opinion, like really cool. Like when you came to like destroying the coconut trees. Like, what was like? Honestly, like, what do you have any other Easter eggs in the game similar to that? And if you do, like, what's your favorite like mini Easter egg that you have inside the game?
For me at least, so as a company, InkForge Studios, this is our fifth game on Steam. But
Fair enough.
our last previous big launch, I'll Be Brave Tomorrow, there's a Easter egg in this game where you can find a Game Boy and find different cartridges throughout the world,
Oh, that's kind of sick. I
and
love that.
you can play Game Boy versions of I'll Be Brave Tomorrow within this game. So it's almost full circle from our last game to this game, playing both at the same time. I think as an Easter egg for us developers, that's a very unique thing that we get to do, that probably not a lot of many other students here could do. And so for us, I think that's probably my favorite Easter egg. I don't know about you guys, but
I mean, that's a very good point. But something that came to mind was the ukulele reference because we tried to speak to Platonic to get like publishing with them. We didn't in the end, but as part of like our method to butter them up, we put a little reference to one of their games, which is also one of our inspirations, which is pretty cool. A small thing, but I thought it was pretty cute.
Yeah.
I'd say for me, it's probably we've got a SpongeBob reference that's going to come up pretty soon in the dialogue.
You never told me about the SpongeBob reference.
Yeah, you'll see it in a second. Wait, you rush over so you get the SpongeBob reference. Oh,
obviously during the development of this game, you guys obviously probably had a lot of player feedback and like from people at the university and just like public as well. Like, how have you taken that response into like the development of the game?
It's quite hard to take a lot of feedback in from people at the GA and different lecturers purely on the basis that a lot of people here aren't the target audience.
Yeah.
Like we said, our game it's a kids game. It's made for kids, or we found another audience is a Steam Deck audience, so a cozy gamer who might play on their Nintendo Switch on the sofa on a Sunday. So a lot of the player feedback we're getting here isn't specifically that audience, unfortunately, but the feedback we are getting a lot of the time is so invaluable for us as a team. Even if, a lecturer prefers Dark Souls to Mario Odyssey, it's still good to get feedback into this game. So yeah.
Yesterday we had the opportunity to test with like our target age range, and it actually went really well. A lot of them said that they were going to ask their parents for Christmas to play our game. So that was it was really sweet. So yeah, I think it's all good things.
So obviously, when it comes to this event in general, how has it gone for you guys? Because I know it's quite big, especially for the university students that are here. Like, how does it feel to have the response that you've gotten from this event?
No, it's been very cool. For us as a studio, we've done quite a few events now. So, Insomnia, WASD, Ollie went to London Games Festival only a month ago, I think it was.
Yeah, not so
So,
long ago now.
I think we were prepped for an expo like this, but it's nice to see, peers from the uni in the same year or lecturers. Our lecturer that we had who mentored us throughout this year came with his children and played the game, and that was
Yeah,
a
that was lovely.
surreal feeling of him talking about his kids for the entire year, saying what things they would like, and then watching the kids actually play it and seeing their smiles on their faces. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'll remember for a long time.
That feeling must have been amazing, honestly.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I can't ask for anything more with that.
True.
Especially when it comes to the future development of this game. Do you guys have any roadmap, like any plans for this game in the future?
Yeah, so the game will definitely come out. We can confirm that. It's already on Steam, so definitely wishlist it if anyone is watching.
Lara showed me the Steam page once it was up.
Of course, of course. But yeah, I think we mainly plan to continue development, maybe a bit slower than what we are at this current pace, and plan to release it either around Christmas or early next year.
I do find it quite interesting that you said after uni you're going to slow down a little bit because earlier this week, like yesterday, we had the people who made Satan,
Yes.
and they were talking about one of the things that they like on their pre-opt review. What they were like, what they should have done is actually planned for the slower work rate after uni because obviously people going back to their lives, they got other stuff to do, they're going to be busy. So it's a good thing, in my opinion, they've already got that planned out.
Yeah, I think we've all decided that indie, as much as we love the freedom, the creative freedom, the stability of an income is something that's quite important to a lot of us. So, unfortunately, I think that's something we have to consider in the future. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So on top of that, I know you guys have been doing some like other stuff. Like you had a GoFundMe that hit its goal, and then you've also had a lot of wish lists on Steam. Like, does that put like any pressure on, or does that like excite you guys even more in some cases?
Really? Yeah, we did a Kickstarter fairly recently, which went through just fine. And then, yeah, wishlist numbers have been pretty good. It tends to be that when you go to events and you get people coming through, that's when they really pick up. And a lot of the time, depending on the event, we'll get like a little Steam like category where we'll show up, and that's what really brings in the numbers. But I've never personally felt too like pressured at all. It's just nice to see that maybe it will do okay come the release.
Honestly, like while watching you guys play this game, like obviously you guys have all played through it. Has there any parts that you've previously found difficult to play through, or like any issues that you've run into while doing the playtest that like kind of broken the game almost?
So in a previous time before university, I was a QA tester. So I did a lot of the QA for this game, and this section specifically hasn't really changed much since January time, other than maybe a few more additional art assets. The functionality has been the exact same, but having to replay it every single time we test this game has been not fun, let's say. Yes, yeah. I think the rest of the team can agree that some of the game has stayed pretty solid from the start, and the idea and it has been long to keep or keep playing the same part of the game, but I guess that's the nature. So
When it came to like the sound design of the game, what was like the main inspiration? Like, was there any issues when it came to like the sound design?
yeah, with us, because we don't have a dedicated audio team or audio person, the biggest issue we found with sound was leveling. Trying to get a consistent sound throughout the game where
Yeah,
nothing's too loud or too quiet. That has been a major issue. And as well with things like voice acting. We have voice acting throughout this game, as well as custom audio tracks, so custom music throughout the game.
yeah.
Trying to get all of that functionally working wasn't too bad, but to get it working so it isn't the loudest thing in the audio is, yeah, that's been an issue. But I think we managed to strike a good enough balance where the audio isn't too jarring, but it definitely does need a few tweaks before launch.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, when it came to, I don't know, like the actual end goal, what on like the roadmap, how long do you think it will take to the game to be fully done?
As we say, we want to get out on Steam at least by the end of this year, early next year, and then planning to port to consoles a while after. So I don't know. Tom was saying that maybe all will be said and done halfway through next year, maybe, but that's speculative. We'll see.
To be
Hmm.
fair, that's pretty quick for, especially when it comes to university students helping with development of the game. But like one thing I am interested in, because Satan talked about it yesterday when it came to importing it over to Switch and stuff like that. Is there any issues that you're going to face? Any issues that you have faced so far that it's going to be a bit of a struggle to overcome?
Yeah, so our previous game, I'll Be Brave Tomorrow, we're in the process of porting it, and Tom, who has been a big part of the porting process, has found many issues in the porting process generally. Each platform is vastly different and vastly hard in terms of getting it onto the console. And then once it's on the console, getting it to work is even harder. And then you have things like save data, achievements, cloud saves, and that's a whole other can of worms that we're slowly tackling. We will get there eventually, but we don't know how long eventually is. Let's say.
Is there going to be like any secret achievements that you're going to be putting in the game that like you guys want to give some like a backstory to the inspiration, or like have you not thought about the achievements as much yet?
I think in terms of achievements, there's quite a few small interactions we have throughout the game with characters. So as you can see here, there's the Captain Monkey that you can talk to, and it's completely optional. The player doesn't have to do that, but there's many interactions throughout the game where it's just two characters talking about nothing a lot of the time, but there's a lot of references in it, and I feel like achievement-wise, we can find good references to put in here that definitely players will enjoy, and we can add achievements to that.
Type game, I think the completionist sort of route as well will definitely be pretty integral. At least for someone like me, I quite like
Yeah,
collecting
definitely.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like obviously with the switch between 2D and 3D, was there any people like specifically that helped the most with the 2D and the 3D aspects? Because obviously it's going to be quite hard to go between both of them back to back to back.
Yeah, these sections during the campfire, I kind of took more of a charge of in terms of just the narrative throughout the game. Obviously, we have the kids here talking about the different stories that they're playing and reenacting, and I think it was a struggle to find the balance between these children sounding like children, but also hitting enough exposition so the player understands that this is a story being told by the children that you are playing, rather than two things that aren't interconnected. Um, and one of the bigger things we found, we only added maybe 3 or 4 days before handing in the assignment, was there's constellations in the sky we've added.
Yeah.
So once this scene ends, you can see in the sky there's constellations for the future world. So it's almost a way to foreshadow to the player what is going to happen and what's going to be in that world. So at the start we had a pirate tree, Captain Monkey, and a map, a treasure map. So that kind of instantly indicates that they're going to a pirate world.
Yeah, that's
However,
quite cool. I like that.
yeah, whereas in this one, obviously they're now talking about space and saying how they enjoy space and aliens and that side of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, the constellations here show you in the future what the space world is going to look like.
Is there going to be like any special space alien enemies, or is it just space monkeys?
So yes, we have a space NPC who is a tourist. He unfortunately has lost something that the player needs to find, and so he will give you a Polaroid. So yeah, here's the constellations I was talking about, and it shows you what the world's going to be. That anyway, back to the alien. So there's a Polaroid that the alien will give you, and essentially the player has to find where this Polaroid was taken to find the item that he's lost and give it back to the tourist.
I like that. I like the little side quests in games like have some meaning, but like at
Mm.
the same time also fun. I have just noticed something that played on earlier was the little gambling machine.
Yes, the gacha. Yes,
The
yeah,
gacha.
yeah, the gacha. So the reason we've got the gacha in is obviously this is a collectathon, so you can see our equivalent of coins in this game are buttons. And you can spend your buttons at gachas throughout the world, and they will either give you bottle dreams, which are essentially our version of stars in Mario, which lock you to the next world,
Yeah.
or eventually the gacha will also give you customizable items. So the bunny could be a blue bunny or a grey bunny, or the bunny could have a cowboy hat or a space helmet. So the gacha, we're having a bit of a random chance for customization in the future.
Obviously, you're talking about achievements earlier and like Easter eggs. Obviously, in the next section, I believe there is a Game Boy that you play one of the little levels on.
Yes,
Is there
yes.
going to be an achievement in the game specifically for achievements in the game specifically for that, or
I
Yeah,
reckon we got it, surely.
I think for every
Gotta
collectible will have to have achievements to collect all of that collectible itself.
collect all of them, and then the ones that like unlock different like elements of the game. I'm sure
Mm,
completing those individually will net you some sort of reward, achievement, what have you.
definitely.
That's the only way forward.
obviously you've had what was like the hardest level so far in the development to design and program?
I'll
Oh
let you
well,
take that.
I think so. The process we knew there was going to be a new level idea when Tom waxed out MS Paint, and
Not the MS Paint.
yeah, then we so this initial level I sort of grey boxed, and then we discussed like the pros and cons of it. I'd say this area was probably the most difficult to design because it's so open to interpretation. It's
Yeah.
space; it can be whatever you want it to be. I think it was interesting to see how you could look through the lens of what a child would imagine. I think it's come together quite nicely though. So we've got like the main area, and then we've got 3 other areas you have to explore to get back to the central area. So you unlock the next part of the
It's
story.
quite open wise
Yeah,
for this level.
yeah.
This level.
Yeah, I think this level has definitely been by far the most absurdist. You can see just from this one image alone, there's a moon which is made of cheese, which also has Lego blocks with cardboard robots who are working for King Cardboard, as well as a Gundam space soldier who's there to help the day. I think we can kind of see that as the game's going on, the children are getting more and more.
Imaginative.
Yes, exactly. I think that's such a great way for us as developers to kind of have the freedom in this game and this story to tell whatever we want and make whatever we want because the children are also thinking they can do whatever they want because they're imagining it.
That must be like quite nice, especially when it comes to like the future level designs, because like you can take it pretty much anywhere you want. From this cheese moon, you can go to a chocolate volcano. Like there's a lot that you guys can carry on from this.
Yeah, it's both a blessing and a curse because it's great in the way that we can come up with anything, but it's horrible in the way that we can come up with anything. So there's a lot of ideas we've had that we've scrapped or we've started again. This level alone, we've started again multiple times because it wasn't right or we went too far in one direction and not far enough in another. So it's both good and bad, but I think we've managed to strike a nice balance for this level.
I feel like this is like my favorite level to play as well from the ones I've played.
Mm.
It's like quite a fever dream. I love it. It's so confusing, but all works together as well.
Yeah, I do agree. It's definitely a fever dream level. There's just so many elements. You can see a pyramid in the background, and so the child who's talking through this story, Kai,
Yeah.
we've described him as a bit of a scrappy child who believes everything he sees, and so one of the famous conspiracy theories were aliens built the pyramids, and so the alien tourist is in the pyramid level there, and Kai talks about how he believes in different theories and that he wants to meet aliens, and so coming up with different ways that, as absurd as it is, it's still funny for the player to see and they will understand it. It's cool for us.
That's really good. I love that. Obviously, you just talked about Kai, one of the kid characters. Is there like any backstories or specific to the other two that currently?
Yes, so we have three. We have Kai, who, yeah, I've said is the scrappy conspiracy theorist believer. Jenny, who is a sporty tomboy. And then we have Charlie, who is a fantasy fanatic. And the three children kind of have their specific genres. So we have pirates, we have space, and then eventually we'll have fantasy. And as the story is told, you kind of see all of the worlds blending together. But yeah, the main reason we have the three children around the campfire isn't necessarily just for the kids to tell a cool story. It's more because we're working with Great Ormond Street for this
Yeah.
game and that side of it. And we're eventually going to tell with a narrative that the children are maybe in hospital together. And we're telling the children that how, if they are in hospital, it's their imagination that can slowly devolve and explain things that are happening in the game, but
Yeah.
also showing that children's imaginations are so powerful that regardless of what they're going through, they're still coming up with these crazy worlds where there's a Game Boy stuck in cheese in the moon. So
Obviously, like obviously it's really nice of you guys to be working with the charities and all that stuff. Like, how did that like come about? If you don't mind me asking.
We just asked them, to be honest with you. We just asked them if we could, and I think we hit them at a good time because they were trying to get into games. Because I mean, slowly as the games industry has progressed, I think it's becoming more and more apparent that games are a great tool for learning and just like getting kids to engage with things. So me and Archie went around the hospital itself, and we got to see like some of the classrooms that they have, and like the sort of buildings that our like donations would be sort of helping to support. But it was as simple as asking them, and they were perfectly happy to get on board, and they were telling us all about the people that they've been working with in the past, and that so much of the hospital itself is built upon just people in the community doing things, offering like licenses and whatnot, and they own. Do they own it, or do they have the rights to like Peter
yeah,
Pan
they
and like
own fully Peter Pan and
they've got
they
like
have
That's
the
a
rights
they've
for
got
it.
like a Banksy, they call it their like big secret base. They got like a Banksy in a photo frame somewhere in the hospital, which is pretty cool to
I
see.
didn't know that.
There's a bunch of stuff going on there. It's incredible.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about so far that you would like to talk about the game, like development wise, playing wise, or like what you have for the future?
Hmm. What do you guys have?
I don't know. It's just been very fun.
Yeah, I
Really, it's
agree.
just been very refreshing after coming from like first and second year, not being able to like choose who you work with. Finally getting to be able to do that has been just great, and it's just I think this will always be the like golden era of making games before we all sell ourselves to industry. But yeah, it's been good fun.
Yeah, I think we've all worked together really well as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has there like been any issues team wise, or has it all just been like smooth sailing?
I think it's the standard. There's always going to be issues, but there's nothing that a conversation hasn't solved.
That's
So
true.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think we've been lucky in the fact that as a team, everyone is open to a conversation.
Yeah,
So
that's always good because like if people don't want to talk or like get upset very easily, it's going to cause a big rift in the team and obviously slow down development. But
exactly,
from the game alone, you can show you guys have like blended well, molded well together, and obviously made a really good game that's going to be used for a really good cause.
yeah. No, it's been nice, and I think for the team we have, the amount of content we were able to create. I mean, this demo alone, if you collect everything, will probably run you an hour and a half. And we also have another playable world, so more pirate sections, which is probably another half an
Yeah,
hour.
that's
But
true.
we've completely cut it out of the demo here today, just because we have so much. We're almost cherry picking what we can show.
From like this event, I feel like that's very rare because most people like putting their last thing in just before demo day. Like, how did you guys end up choosing like what you took out and what you kept for this event?
I think playtesting has helped a lot.
Yeah.
Just seeing what people enjoy, but then also I think certain scenes have had more love than others, and so we just wanted to show them off more. Or like more scenes have like personal touches that we just want to get in there and stuff like that. But that's not to say that any scene like wouldn't fit the mark, so to speak. It's just yeah, just picked our favourites, I suppose.
Amazing. We are going to be running out of time soon. Is there like one thing that each of you would like to talk about just before we end this segment?
Something we should have thought of.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, earlier you asked about like trouble in development, and then the only thing that came to mind was really that working with as a team of like 4 3D artists and trying to get like the cohesion together at the very start was the only real challenge that I seem to remember facing. But it worked out in the end, I think.
I think the way you solved that was showing your art through the process. So like constantly getting feedback and ensuring you weren't
Yeah,
off.
absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Like, obviously, you guys have an amazing game down here. Like,
Thank
I just
you.
want to say well done.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you. So I think I've got one more thing that I don't think we've mentioned. So with this game, 25% of the revenue will go to Great Ormond Street Hospital charity.
Oh, amazing.
So once the Steam release is out, 25% of the net revenue will go to Great Ormond Street Hospital. And so please wishlist the game. The more wishlists we get, the more sales we get, and the more we can give to Great Ormond Street. And as well as our previous game, I'll Brave Tomorrow, that is a 50% donation to Great Ormond Street. And that is currently in a bundle with Fanatical. So I think you can buy, is it 18 games for £12?
I believe so. It's like
And
worth £200 normally.
yeah, so it's a big bundle, which I'll Be Brave Tomorrow is a part of currently. And that is also, in my opinion, a pretty good game. So yeah.
Honestly, like, yeah, this game is probably one of the better ones I've seen at this event. I'm just gonna say that again. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, so thank you guys for like watching this segment and everything. Like, obviously, would you like to say anything to the people at home before we finish?
Other than wish listing, that's it. The main thing is
Kickstarter.
wish listing. Yeah, because I don't think people understand how much that helps indie
It's
devs on
massive.
Steam. Wish list is the only metric that anyone cares about. So
Pretty much
the more wish list, the better.
dictates how your game is going to perform.
Yeah, because of the
come the
visibility.
release. Yeah.
We're gonna be taking a quick break now for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be back with another panel up next.